One of the first things I want to point out that Ian said is that he was making the claim that, you know, they do need to be punished and stuff, and that's not what we're saying. We're not saying that they should not be prosecuted or punished for the crimes that they're saying. We do agree with that. We just believe that they should not be tried as adults for it. As of right now, there's 8 states in the U.S. right now that actually have juveniles serving life terms without the possibility of parole for non-homicidal crimes. So these guys didn't even kill anybody, like you were saying they probably did. And they have absolutely no chance of doing anything about it for something, you know, they did when they were like 15 or 16. As of right now, in New York, children as young as 13 are able to be tried as adults. Now, this is something that, if you look at it, everything we have as a society is saying that if you're under 18, you don't have the capability of making these decisions. That's why you're not able to, you know, buy or use any tobacco products. You're not even allowed to have or serve alcohol, even if you're a waiter. It's illegal to even bring someone a beer. You're not able to get a tattoo, get married, see even an R-rated movie. So if we have all of these things saying, you know, you're not able to make these right decisions, how is it that, well, if you make a mistake, well, all of a sudden you're an adult now, if you make a mistake? So it's kind of one of those things that it doesn't really make sense to a lot of people. One of the other things is, now this was a few years ago now, but in 1990, Pennsylvania actually tried a 9-year-old kid as an adult. And one of the reasons that they denied the claim to allow it to be brought down to a juvenile court was because he lied. And lying is something that only adults do. Now, I don't know about you, but I can remember a time when, you know, you hit a sibling or something, and your parents come in and say, "What happened?" "Well, he hit me." You know, it's very broad. You lie to try to either avoid punishment or things like that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that you're an adult. They also said that, you know, as a 9-year-old, because he dozed off during some of the motions, the pretrial motions, that it showed a lack of remorse for what he did. Well, it's one of those things that he's a 9-year-old kid. A lot of times those things are really boring. And I don't know about you, but as a 9-year-old kid, even sitting through something like this, I don't know that I would have been able to do it very well. Let me see here. One of the other things that is a great problem, one of the reasons we're advocating for this kind of change, is that, where's it here? Okay. Virginia actually did a few studies in the 1980s based on juvenile in adult prisons and things like that. And they've actually found that not only are they at a greater risk for not being able to be rehabilitated, but they're actually at greater risk for suicide, of being physically, sexually, or verbally assaulted in the jails. And so it's kind of one of those things that even if you do try them as adults, you know, one of the things that has to get changed is we can't put them in prisons and jails with the adults, because they're obviously not adults yet, and they're at a very big risk for being taken advantage of there while they're in there. Another big problem with trying juveniles as adults is they don't understand what's going on. One of the big things is even a lot of adults don't fully know their rights. You know, and if the adults don't know their rights, how are the kids supposed to? Because when a lot of the common things that happen is that when juveniles are arrested, they believe that because they are arrested, it automatically means they're guilty. So they have no cop-out, so to speak. They have no way of proving that they're innocent, which actually causes a lot of false confessions being given to the police. They also, they don't fully understand their amendments there, so they don't know that they don't have to speak and testify against themselves in court, as well as they have a lot of times kids, when they're arrested, they have a big mistrust of any authority figure, and so they end up denying a public defender for them, which ends up giving them in much bigger trouble because they don't have anyone representing them. And let me see here. And one of the other things, to come back on what Ian said, if I can find where I wrote that, is actually the most common crimes committed by juveniles are not really murder or anything like that. The biggest felony is burglary. So someone breaking in someplace and stealing things. You know, it's not a victimless crime, but it's also not a violent crime. So I don't believe that these kids should be, you know, getting, you know, extremely long sentences when, you know, it's not even a violent crime. They can still be rehabilitated and, you know, hopefully brought back from all of this. And then lastly, one of the other points that Bob didn't get a chance to make yet is the cost of it all. In New York, the independent budget office did a study, and they found that it cost the city just last year $167,731 per year per inmate. That's roughly $460 a day per inmate. So in LA, that was over $47,000. And so if we're sentencing these juveniles to adults, that's going to cost the states and the cities a lot of money to keep them in there for the rest of their lives. So.